What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine.
And I am still James.
And we are here to bring you an epic review, movie review on Netflix, The Devil All the Time. Devil All the Time starring Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Jason Clarke, Bill Skarsgård, Sebastian Stan. Who else?
Yeah,
A lot of superheroes.
Your mama's cousin's roommate. Everybody's in here.
What's that mean to me?
Absolutely.
But anyway, it had a big star-studded cast of a lot of popular actors at the time, right now, and so I started watching this movie, and like this movie kind of starts off one way, and it kind of turns into something else, and they kind of got like 2-3 movies going on,
Yeah.
and then they kind of intersect, and when they do intersect, it's not like a oh moment, not for me.
But, like also, they have a weird way of framing in this movie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you have the narrator offering second
Get to
person
that, too.
introspection about like what the character's thinking.
Yeah,
And it's always weird. Like, it's one thing when you read that, but then when like you watch a movie, so and so never thought.
that's what threw me off. The narrator. Now I was going to talk about this. The narrator is the person who wrote the book, so I bet you he said, "Hey, can I?" Only reason why I'm gonna give you because he gave them the rights to make this or whatever. Or I don't know. It was probably in the contract. You know,
Right.
let me narrate it because I can only I can narrate it right. And it's like when you narrate it, you making it like it's like a coming of age story.
Yeah, that's exactly like knowing that this is not a coming of age story.
Yeah, that's what
and
threw
then
me
it's
off.
like, so and so was just about 18
Dude,
years
it's
old.
right. I know you. Okay, so half of the movie is like a serial killer crime drama, and the other half is like a coming of age story, and they had them intersect, and they don't
Yeah,
mesh well to me.
like even which is weird because like this is one of the rare dark coming of age stories.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be,
and it doesn't feel like a dark coming of age story, even though everything in it.
dude. I'm telling you, the way they started it and the way the coming of age stuff, you could have went a whole nother direction.
Yeah.
When you did that, and then the crime stuff, you could have went in a whole nother direction with that. Which I mean, I like what it was setting up, and you know the little serial killers and the crime element was actually interesting or whatever. But the payoff wasn't all that great, and when you had put these stories together, it wasn't all that great either. You know, and
Well,
that
you know what it
kinda-
is like this movie takes itself too serious, like not just a little too seriously. It takes itself a lot too
But
seriously.
I think it's the writer, man. I guess he thought he had something. It's like, dude, you had Stand By Me meets, I can't think of a good killer movie that but you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
was like the beginning was like Stand By Me, and it wasn't even bad. Like the coming of age stuff wasn't bad, but you didn't have to have it lead into that direction of, which I understand, and that's not even a bad thing, but the direction it led to, basically, the other stuff was so interesting on its own that let's keep that over there and get a whole nother movie with that.
Yeah,
Like, let's
I
do a
think,
whole nother movie with this.
like even like not being able to separate those two things or make them mesh well, because that's where you're at when you get to that point. It's like either we really need to hit on meshing these two storylines together, or we just had to keep them
But
completely
see,
apart.
that was how the book was,
Yeah.
and I'm afraid that you had some good ideas, and you should have had you was better served making 2 books.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be in the same universe, and this is the problem. When you put stuff in the same universe, everything got to connect some way,
Yeah.
and the connections are like, really, dude? You know what I'm saying?
And you know what it is like clearly the connection from the writing standpoint is this whole area. That's the connection. But because the stories need to be connected, well, so and so ran into such and such.
Yeah, well, they didn't have. You didn't know what the connections was until like middle of the movie,
Yeah.
and then they threw something out where somebody that we already was following, and we didn't really know why we was following this person, and then out of nowhere, oh, hey, big brother, like,
Yeah. And it's like it's not even a good reveal. Like they don't put any impact in it. There's no impact
Yeah.
to the reveal. and it doesn't amount to anything.
It didn't really, and it kind of disappointed me because, like I said, you had something good on one side. You had something good on both sides, that's why it's hard for me to say this is not good because it was good. Potentially, it could have been so much better.
Well, like that's why, like my big overarching critique on this movie, and I try not to use this too often because it's one of my go-tos, but it is a common problem. Is the movie doesn't know what it is. Mm-hmm. It has no clue what it's trying to be.
Yeah, I mean, this was the book though.
Yeah, true.
So I got Robert Pattinson right there on the video screen there. So let's talk about some performances. I want you. So we had the Crooked Preacher. Now this took place in a small town in Ohio called Knock'em Stiff, Ohio, right by Meade. I guess Meade is more like a bigger city, and then Knock'em Stiff is kind of like a county in that city or something like that. And this is a backwater town where everybody's just so unlucky here. It's just kind of a bad. It's like, why don't you just move?
It's like there's this throughput of misery in every single life attached to this town.
Yeah, so they start off with this preacher. Now you saw on the trailer this dumb preacher. And it's like this whole thing with him didn't even make sense to me. I mean, I ain't gonna say it didn't make sense. It was just kind of useless. But he had, and you saw it on the trailer. He poured spiders all on him. He was like, "What's that all about?" He just tried to show his congregation that God protects him, no matter what. So let me show you. Let me show you how God protect me by pouring spiders all over me. You moron.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, he's one of those traveling, faith healer types. It's like, through God you can do. I used to be scared of spiders, and it's like.
So I mean, but the whole look on religion, they just make religion look so bad. Like they make religion look
like a cult.
Yeah, like right. They got make it look cultish.
Yeah.
And especially in a small town, and every preacher is crooked in this movie. So it's kind of like if you're the preacher, you just got these idiots, and they just believe whatever you tell them. Yeah. That's how they make it look. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not a good look for religion, right?
It's like, I get the distinct feeling the guy that wrote the book had a very bad experience with religion in the South.
Yeah, I mean, we talking about a real small town.
Like this is like it's a real small town, and in these small towns, especially like if you're gonna be around the Bible Belt, church is everything. Like if you don't show up to church, you better not try to come down to the corner store and buy some groceries because notice you didn't come to church last week.
So they had a subplot with the preacher, and he ended up leaving his congregation, and so then they get a new preacher, which was Robert Pattinson, and he did not fit the role that they intended for him. Now he did a good job though. I really think he did a good job of playing a sleazy. You see, they had like a little fake gut on him.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to have been a sleazy preacher that was like basically taking advantage of the young women.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And I could tell. I'm pretty sure his character was meant to be a very sleazy, greasy, unattractive man. And look, I mean, come on, man. I know. It's like when he was talking to these girls, I'm like, okay, dude, you don't fit in this town at all.
No. It's like he's got just enough Hollywood in him.
Man, only person that fit in that town was Jason Clarke because he looked weird as hell. And Sebastian Stan didn't fit either because even though he gained a lot of weight, he still had the chiseled jaw,
Like, he looks a little too clean and put together.
Yeah.
This sheriff, got issues and can't keep shit together. He don't look like he can't keep shit together.
Yeah,
he
right.
Got everything
he just
together.
looks like a handsome little stocky guy. So anyway, I thought that Robert Pattinson did a great job. Actually, I was impressed, but he just his look was just not with his role.
Like I think this movie might have been better, at least on the watching of it, if they just gone with working actors, no names, just working.
But
actors.
they went with. But this is kind of stuff that these actors want to do, so they probably take less money just to get a producing credit, because like they want to stretch their legs, they want to all these British and Australian guys all with this Southern accent.
Okay, and that's the other thing. It's like I get that like Southern accents to them
Do
are
you
the
think
same
anybody
thing.
did too bad with their accent?
The one I really don't like is Tom Holland's,
Yeah.
and that's just I can tell that.
But
he's putting
his
it on.
wasn't real strong though. I give him that.
Like that's the only thing is like I can tell that he's putting it on.
It wasn't like what's his name? When what's the dude who plays Spider-Man?
Garfield.
Yeah, when he
Garfield.
did the movie, the war movie.
Yeah,
Just let me say one more. Like
Yeah.
his
yeah.
his is too strong. Where it was like, nah, dude, don't do that.
You know, I think it's just like knowing what the dude's voice sounds like and knowing that dialect. I can
Yeah.
tell when he doesn't quite have it.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big Tom Holland fan. I ain't gonna say I don't like him, but I'm not crazy. You know, I'm just not a
Yeah.
big fan. But I thought he did okay for what he had to do. But his character was just kind of lame to me.
Yeah, that too.
Then this would be a coming of age story if the narrator was Tom Holland character.
Yes.
So who the hell is the narrator? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like that don't work.
Like-
you don't have a coming of age story if the narrator is not somehow connected to
Connected
this.
story. Like, and that's the one thing is like the specific form of narration they went with is
It only makes sense if he was a character
if he's
in
in
the story.
You know, well, let me tell you a story about one time
Yeah.
down in
And then you come to
Knock'em
find out that he probably was the dude that owned the store or something.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, like he doesn't even have to be a main character. It's just
Right. It could have
but
been one of the side characters and you find out later
Yeah.
that's the guy telling the story. But
you
go
know,
ahead and finish. I'm
especially
sorry.
because like his at least that's what I heard. You know, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And it's like, but for it to just be a narrator, why is there a narrator?
Yeah, we don't need one.
Yeah.
You just kind of added some stuff that we didn't need to this story.
It's just this is how I wrote the book, so I need this.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you like this: you watched two movies and you combined them.
Yeah.
Because if you would have kept it a coming of age story, it would have been a good coming of age story.
Yeah.
If you would have did the crime drama with these serial killers that was doing what they was doing, and how did that end, and you know that ended up pretty good, but that didn't go with the beginning half.
Right.
You know, so that what made it so uneven for me. Where I like stuff in it, and I like, but on the whole, it just didn't go. It didn't go together. You know,
Yeah.
to me, it would have been better two separate movies. On the whole, it didn't really go together. But I thought it was watchable, and I thought the performances was great.
Yeah.
Even though everybody didn't really look like these backwater.
They too clean.
guy.
They too handsome.
Especially Robert Pattinson. I know he was supposed to be this charismatic preacher, but if you see how he played this role,
Well, like-
he was so sleazy.
So like one of the things I peeped on, like he has this great sleazy, like sneering grin.
Always sweating and shit.
Yeah, but, like he's got this great sleazy sneering grin where it's like, ooh, why are you smiling like that? But also, that's an okay smile.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
it's like-
when you see it's like he played a character as a sleazy guy, but then when the camera's on him, like, well, I mean, I can see why these girls are smitten. The
Yeah.
guy's fucking good looking,
Like,
so it's like
it'd
it's
be
like it don't
different-
work.
Right, like it'd be different if it was Walter Goggins. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, somebody like Walter Goggins.
Like, cause that's his bread and butter,
It's
right?
got to be somebody sleazy
It's like
looking,
and like
or
'cause-
Steve Buscemi.
Right. And so like when those guys play that role, it's like they get all the girls because they know how to play the game.
Yeah,
But then you have Robert Pattinson, like he doesn't need moves.
right,
He's Robert
right.
Pattinson.
They once all the girls was already ready to sleep with him once he showed up in church anyway, because he was like, you know, he's Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
But especially in this town, you know what I'm saying? So, but he did a good job on just being so sleazy
Right.
with it and sleeping with all these little young ladies or whatnot, you know, and that's part of the plot. So I'm not gonna give too
Yeah.
much away.
but
But
still, you know, you got a Robert Pattinson in a town of Jason Clark's. I mean,
yeah.
come on.
Right, I know. It's like all you gotta do is show up. He's good. But so you know, I just thought they was a little too, they was a little too clean for that. But they all did real good. I liked them all. And like I said, you need to focus on either one of the two.
Yeah.
Because the crime stuff was just interesting. I was like to see where that went, but then you jump back to the coming of age story. It's like, okay,
It
I
just
was
doesn't-
wanting to see where that shit was gonna
it doesn't
go. How
give
they
you
gonna
enough
get
time
called?
to let either
Who's
story
who's
breathe.
you know what's gonna happen there? And you know, so it was just too uneven.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it my rating, man. The movie was uneven. It was dark. it has a dark outcome, and it was a lot of, like I said, the acting was real good, and two different stories was interesting, but you, as a whole, as a movie, you didn't bring them home together.
Yeah.
So I just give it an all right, man,
Yeah.
just because of what they did, and how how it all ended. And it was just when the movie got over, I was like, it was all right, So that's my rating. It was all right. What'd you give it?
Like, because one of the problems with this movie is, since it does, like you said, it's uneven. You don't give either of the two plot lines a chance to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have these two stories that never really land.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a dark film, and it's shot well for the tone, but it never gives you a reason to be there. So I got, it's a watchable movie. I'm not going to say that, it's an all right. Watch it if you want, or skip it.
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry it couldn't be better, because the potential was there. They just that's when you slave to the book. It's like, I know the writer probably wouldn't sign off on you taking half his story,
Right.
but you pay him enough, he would. But I feel like the writer watched two movies and tried to combine them, and it didn't work. All right, so that is our review for The Devil All the Time. Not a bad movie. Could have been better. Real good performances, though. So, yeah, we're out of here. Thanks for checking out the video, and subscribe to the channel. Peace.